You are standing at the edge of your life's map, and the truth is, no one is coming to draw it for you. No one is obligated to hand you a guidebook, a guaranteed job, or a smooth path. This, right now, is your call to arms. If you waste this phase, you might not recover the years you lose. But if you discipline yourself now, if you walk forward with clarity and burden, you can carry more than you imagine, and become far more than you believe. So here it is, the ultimate advice, not the comfort you want, but the truth you need. We are living in a world that screams about rights but whispers about responsibility. Your generation has been told you are special, unique, destined for greatness, and perhaps you are. But greatness is not a birthright. It is earned through the disciplined adoption of responsibility. Don't ask, what job will give me the most money? Ask instead, what problems am I willing to suffer for solving? You don't grow by seeking ease. You grow by voluntarily shouldering a burden, whether it's studying when you don't feel like it, building something of your own, or showing up for others without applause. Clean up your own chaos before you march to fix the world. Structure your day, wake up with a plan, read with purpose, and delay gratification. The world doesn't respect your potential. It respects your output. And your output is a direct reflection of how seriously you take your responsibilities. Let me be clear, being harmless is not a virtue, it is weakness. If you want to be respected, stop aiming for approval. Learn to speak clearly, learn to defend your ideas, train your body, discipline your mind, know how to say no and mean it. A student or graduate who knows how to think, how to fight metaphorically and literally, how to stand up for what's right despite discomfort, that's a person who changes the world. You don't have to be violent, but you must not be naive. Life will test your resilience, people will exploit your passivity, and the system will chew up those who do not know how to assert themselves. So become competent, master something hard, learn to think critically. Read deep books, not just social media captions. Build the capacity for strength, and then choose to use it wisely. That is what makes you formidable and, ironically, genuinely kind. We've fed students a dangerous lie. Just follow your passion. No. Passion is fleeting. Meaning is transformative. You will not always feel inspired. You will be exhausted, bored, uncertain. What will carry you through then? Meaning. Meaning is found where your soul feels the weight of responsibility and still says, I will carry this. Meaning is getting up early to study for an exam because you want to build a better future. Meaning is working a job that drains you while you build a business at night. Meaning is sacrificing comfort now for purpose later. Passion is a mood, meaning is a path. And if you choose meaning, ironically, passion often follows. Your 20s are not a vacation. They are boot camp for the life you will one day live. Do not waste your time chasing shallow pleasures, clubbing every weekend binge, watching to numb your mind, scrolling endlessly for digital validation. The question is not what feels good now, but what makes you stronger later. Who do you want to be at 30, at 40? And what kind of discipline do you need today to get there? Design your habits like you're building your future self, because you are. Every hour you waste now is a brick you failed to lay in the foundation of your dreams. And when life gets hard, and it will, you don't want to look back and realize you were the one who made it harder. So create structure, invest in your skills, build a network of real people, plan a life worth living, and then work like hell to get there. Would you like the speech conclusion? YouTube SEO description, keywords, and hashtags. We live in a culture that urges you to claim your rights, express your individuality, and demand recognition for who you are. But here is a brutal truth. Unless you take responsibility for your life, none of those things matter. Rights without responsibility are hollow. They're like demanding respect without offering any value. When you walk out of school or college with a degree, you're not just entering the world with knowledge. You're stepping into a battlefield, and no one is handing you armor unless you learn to forge it yourself. The idea that someone owes you a perfectly tailored opportunity just because you graduated is not just false, it's dangerous. It creates a mindset of entitlement, and entitlement is the enemy of growth. Responsibility, on the other hand, is the starting point of maturity. If you want to become someone who matters, someone who earns respect and builds influence, you need to start by owning everything you can. Own your time, own your mistakes, own your future, and that means doing the hard things without waiting for permission. Wake up early, even when you don't feel like it. Study harder, even when no one is watching. Take initiative, even when you're afraid. Most students drift through their days thinking life will begin after graduation. That's false. Life has already begun. Every day you delay ownership is a day you fall behind someone who didn't. And here's what's transformative: when you voluntarily take responsibility, especially in areas that others ignore, you grow in competence, confidence, and credibility. People start to trust you more. They take you seriously. And most importantly, you begin to take yourself seriously. You stop blaming the system, your parents, your teachers, or the economy. You stop looking for someone to save you because you've realized you are the one responsible for building the life you want. And this doesn't mean you'll have it all figured out. No one does. But taking responsibility gives you direction. It makes you act, and action, repeated daily, builds momentum. When you commit to improving yourself in small, practical ways, organizing your schedule, meeting deadlines, solving your own problems, you are shaping your future in real time. So before you raise your voice to demand the world give you what's fair, ask yourself, have I earned it? Have I done the work? Have I proven that I can carry the weight I'm asking for? If the answer is no, then start now, because your future self is watching, and it's either going to thank you or resent you. There is a common misconception among students and graduates that being agreeable, passive, or inoffensive is the safest way to navigate life, that if you are nice, the world will open its doors for you. But let's dismantle that illusion right now. Being harmless is not the same as being good. A domesticated person, someone who avoids conflict at all costs, who nods at injustice to stay liked, is not virtuous. They are simply weak, and weakness is not a moral achievement. What makes you good is your ability to be strong and still choose restraint. What makes you admirable is your capacity to act with power, but remain guided by principle. The truth is, you need to become dangerous, not in a violent, reckless sense, but in your competence, your communication, your ability to stand firm when the world pushes back. If you cannot defend your beliefs, if you cannot speak with clarity, if you shrink at every challenge or confrontation, you will be pushed around, ignored, and eventually broken. Life is not fair, and people are not always kind. If you want to thrive, you must become someone others cannot easily dismiss. Train your mind, learn to speak so that people listen, study logic, rhetoric, argumentation, read philosophy, not just fiction. Understand how people manipulate, how systems work, how narratives are spun. The stronger your mind becomes, the more dangerous your words become. And in a world filled with noise, a voice of precision and conviction is a weapon of immense value. But don't stop there. Train your body too. Physical strength teaches discipline, resilience, and self-respect. It teaches you what it feels like to push through pain, to become familiar with discomfort, to face your limits and expand them. A strong body is not just for looks. It is a message. It tells the world you are capable of action, of endurance, of resistance. It tells yourself that you can survive hardship and keep going. When you become dangerous in this way, mentally, emotionally, physically, you gain freedom. You're no longer afraid of opposition because you know you can handle it. You're no longer obsessed with approval because your self-respect replaces the need for constant validation. And when you choose to be kind, it comes not from fear, but from strength. That is what it means to live with real power, not the kind that dominates others, but the kind that defends your values, protects your future, and refuses to be silenced by fear. One of the most harmful pieces of advice often given to students and graduates is this: follow your passion. It sounds beautiful, it's poetic, it makes you feel like the universe owes you a joyful, effortless life if you just locate that one magical thing you love. But it's a lie, a seductive lie, and if you fall for it, it will betray you. Passion is not stable, it fluctuates, it's rooted in emotion, and emotion is notoriously unreliable. One day you feel inspired, the next you feel exhausted and disconnected. If you depend on passion to drive your actions, you will quit the moment things get hard, and they always get hard. No job, no path, no dream is free of suffering. Passion alone cannot carry the weight of discipline, long-term struggle, or the burden of meaningful achievement. Meaning, however, is different. Meaning is deeper. It is rooted in responsibility, sacrifice, and the pursuit of something greater than comfort. Passion asks, what makes me feel good? But meaning asks, what am I willing to endure because it's worth it? Passion leads you to chase what's exciting. Meaning leads you to build what's enduring. If you're a student or a graduate, understand this: the beginning of your career or your life's purpose may not feel exciting. You may start in a job that seems beneath you. You may study subjects that bore you at times. You may struggle to find clarity. That's normal. What matters is whether you commit yourself to becoming excellent, regardless of how you feel. Mastery grows from repetition, sacrifice, and focused attention. Meaning is forged in the fires of consistency, not the breeze of passion. The most meaningful work is not always the most glamorous. It is often quiet, humble, and filled with tasks that no one celebrates. But when you take ownership of something difficult, when you persist even when the thrill fades, you become the kind of person others rely on. You gain trust, influence, and depth. You become someone of substance. And ironically, the more you align yourself with meaning, the more passion tends to appear along the way, not as a guide, but as a reward. Don't let yourself be misled by the myth that happiness should lead you. Choose a direction that brings meaning, that demands your growth, and that serves something larger than yourself. That is where you'll find strength, purpose, and ultimately, fulfillment. Passion will follow where in the age of instant gratification, building a future worth living for has become a radical act. Students and recent graduates often fall into the trap of believing that youth is a time to escape responsibility, to indulge, to coast. There is this dangerous narrative that your 20s are for finding yourself through pleasure, distractions, and passivity. But the reality is this: if you treat your early years as a playground, you may wake up one day in a prison of your own making. Your habits today are building your future. Every decision you make, what you eat, how you sleep, how you use your time, who you surround yourself with, is either compounding toward a life of discipline, health, and strength, or a life of regret, chaos, and limitation. The future is not an abstract destination you stumble upon. It's something you design 1 hour at a time, and the terrifying part, most people don't design it at all. They drift. They surrender their schedules to entertainment, their minds to distraction, and their purpose to the opinions of others. They keep telling themselves they'll figure it out later, but later never arrives with the clarity they expected. Instead, time moves forward, opportunities pass by, and slowly, the walls close in. You don't need to have all the answers now, but you do need a direction, and you need to work like your future depends on it, because it does. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but you must be intentional. Start with small disciplines: waking up at a set time, reading daily, exercising, setting clear goals, tracking your progress. These little actions compound in powerful ways. They teach you that you are in control of your trajectory. Avoid escapism disguised as freedom. The endless parties, the numbing social media consumption, the hours lost in mindless entertainment, they are not harmless. They are robbing you of your prime years, where your mind is sharp, your energy is high, and your potential is at its peak. The more you avoid building now, the more you'll have to repair later, and some repairs cost more than you're prepared to pay. Your future self is not some distant stranger. It's the sum total of what you do today, tomorrow, and the next day. So build a life you won't need to run away from. Build a career, a body, a mind, and a set of relationships that make you proud. Lay foundations now that you'll want to stand on, not escape from, when life gets hard, because it will, and when it does, only the strong survive and thrive. As you stand at the threshold of adulthood, whether you're still a student or fresh out of college, understand that the world is not waiting to hand you success, happiness, or meaning. It is indifferent to your dreams, and it will not bend to your wishes. What it does respond to, however, is discipline, responsibility, and the relentless pursuit of purpose. If you want to build a life that matters, you cannot afford to drift. You must wake up to the fact that your choices today are shaping the person you will become tomorrow. Life doesn't owe you anything, but it will reward those who face it with courage, clarity, and commitment. Responsibility is not a burden to be feared. It is the pathway to strength. When you take ownership of your time, your decisions, your failures, and your progress, you develop the power to transform your own life. No one will save you, and that's not a tragedy. It's your greatest opportunity. When you become the kind of person who carries weight voluntarily, people notice. You start to command respect not through noise, but through quiet, consistent effort. That is how real character is built, not by talking about your potential, but by proving it day after day. You must also understand that in a world that often rewards superficiality, your task is to go deeper. Don't just chase passion or applause. Chase meaning. Passion fades, meaning sustains. Life is hard. It will test you, stretch you, and at times break you. The only thing that keeps you going in those moments is a vision anchored in responsibility and meaning. A vision that says, this is worth it, even when it hurts. You don't need to have your entire life figured out right now. But you do need to choose paths that lead toward growth and purpose rather than comfort and distraction. Finally, build a future that is strong enough to stand when everything else falls. Your 20s are not a detour. They are the foundation. Use them wisely, shape your habits like bricks, make your disciplines the cement, and protect your mind like it's sacred ground. If you do that, you won't need to escape the life you've built. You'll want to live in it fully. You'll become someone the world can count on, and more importantly, someone you can be proud of. Thank you for taking the time to engage with this message. It means more than you know. If this speech gave you clarity, motivation, or a new way of thinking, I'm truly honored to have been a part of that journey with you. My goal is always to challenge, uplift, and speak to the part of you that knows you're meant for more. Remember, these words are only the beginning. Real transformation begins the moment you decide to act. So as you go forward, don't just carry this message in your mind. Apply it. Revisit it when you need strength. Share it with someone who might be drifting. And most importantly, hold yourself to the standard your future self will thank you for. Thank you once again for your support. If you're uploading or sharing this content, do so boldly, because the world needs more truth, more courage, and more people who are willing to rise. Stay focused, stay strong, and stay grounded in what truly matters. Until next time, take care, do the work, and goodbye for now.